the Facebook. So here's my version of that. The deity. Relationship status, Trinitarian. Number of friends, God only knows. Unfriended, list currently blocked. Photos not available, see second commandment. What's on your mind? What isn't? Recent posts, I rule. Thinking about writing another book. My first one is still the all-time bestseller. Now have over 1 billion worshipers. Taking the day off. Thank me, it's Friday. So what a great thing it is that God says, I want you to seek my face, not seek my Facebook. What a great thing it is that when God came to earth, he came in the humble form of Jesus, the carpenter. So the question around this commandment is, when I go online, when I present myself, am I doing it in the humility, in the name and the spirit of Jesus of Nazareth? Fifth command. Don't confuse online popularity with authentic community. It's kind of an amazing thing in our day. It's not at all uncommon for people when they go on Facebook to end up with hundreds or even thousands of friends, and that sounds so impressive. But in one survey, when they asked people, how many friends do you really have? How many people are there that you could call on at a time of crisis? The actual answer was 4. And in the Bay Area, it's even lower than that. And that's why life groups are so important to our church, to find a place where there can be an authentic friendship. Now, online can kind of confuse you about how many friends you actually have. It's a very interesting campaign done by Burger King, and they called it the Whopper Sacrifice. They actually went onto Facebook and said, if you will unfriend 10 of your Facebook friends, you will get a free Whopper. They had to shut it down in 10 days. Over 230,000 people got unfriended in 10 days for 1/10 of a Whopper. It turns out a Facebook friend is worth 37 cents. So to have an actual friend, part of what can happen when I go online is every time I get a like, every time I get a Twitter follower, it creates this little surge of dopamine and it starts to feel good. And I start to confuse online popularity with real life friends. Next command. Spend more time face to face than on Facebook. There's a very interesting dynamic going on in our day where, no, I've got to look at this one. It turns out that too much time online can damage your capacity for empathy. In fact, there's a University of Michigan study that found that there has been a 40% drop in empathy over the last several decades among college students. There's something about when I'm with another person and I'm looking them directly in the face that I learn how to read their heart. Very interesting in the Bible, there's this character Joseph. And when he was a young man, because he was the favorite and he reveled in being the favorite, his brothers hated him and they were miserable and he didn't have a clue. But then later on in his life, as he has to experience suffering himself, we're told about this when he's in prison. Joseph asked Pharaoh's officials who were with him in confinement in his master's house, "Why are your faces so sad today?" Over time, he learned to read another person's face. It's kind of interesting. Researchers are finding in our day that people often prefer texting over face-to-face conversations. And when one researcher asked folks about this, they said, it's because when I'm texting, I'm in control of the conversation. And if I'm not texting, things might get boring. I might not be in control. Well, see, the whole idea in relationships is you're not supposed to be in control. Another researcher was talking about college students who speak of the rule of 3. If they're at a dinner table with 5 or 6 people, they will look around the table and there have to be at least 3 people heads up paying attention, and then they feel like they can look down at their phone. That's the rule that's actually beginning to govern dinner table conversations. Look across your row right now. See if there's at least 3 people looking up here. And if there's not, then you have to be those 3. It's very interesting. Even the presence of a cell phone on a table, if there's just a cell phone on a table when 2 people are talking, it changes their conversation. People will engage in a conversation that is more easily interruptible, that's more superficial and less disclosing, just if they're looking at a cell phone. It's a remarkable statement. We are drawn to technologies that provide the illusion of companionship without the demands of relationship. If I ask you out face to face, I feel vulnerable because it's easier. So it's just easier to send an ambiguous text. Then I don't have to face the pain of rejection. People are breaking up by text. People are asking for divorces by text. Caring for other people face to face is a learned behavior. And the more I do it, the more I learn. And if I'm not doing that, I lose that capacity. So more time face to face than on Facebook. Commandment number 7, don't write something online that you would not say to somebody's face. Jesus, a long time ago, had a real clear guideline about what to do if there's a relational breakdown. This is how he put it. If your brother or sister sins, go to that person and point out their fault just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you will have won them over. The reason that we do things like to say mean things is, in real life, if I'm cruel to somebody, if I say something nasty, I can see the hurt in your face and it doesn't feel good. But when I'm online, I can say something cruel and clever and nasty, and it doesn't even register. It just feels good. True story. There is a guy who was in court, and he was arguing because he was in trouble that he did not have an anger management problem. And they showed him his Facebook posting on his Facebook site. When he was asked to describe himself, he said, "Don't get crosswise with me or I will kick you into submission." This is a guy who said he didn't have an anger management problem. So let's have one rule. Let's agree together as a community of brothers and sisters. We will have no flaming emails, no fighting online, no cruel statements to each other, just written down where you can't be present to read somebody's face and their body language. If there's a problem, let's go face to face. Commandment number 8. Behave on your little screen like it's going to be seen on a big screen. And one of the dangers in the online world is how easy it is to hide there. And this is why sexuality, pornography can be an enormous problem. We're actually going to take one whole weekend later on where we're going to look more at sexuality and how social media is changing all that. And because there can be so much shame around that, but there can be so much hope around that. This is one of the reasons why to have somebody to whom I am accountable for my online behavior is so helpful. This is what it says in the book of Ecclesiastes. 2 are better than 1. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. And so having another person that you're accountable for, it might be around pornography, might be around spending. There's people that have issues when it comes to money. Might be around a relationship that's developing online where you want to have somebody else to talk about. Even though I go online alone, I don't want my online behavior to be something that is hidden. Now, I want to behave with the little screen in a way that if it was shown on the big screen, I'd be okay with that. Commandment number 9, honor the digital Sabbath and keep it holy. Technology is a wonderful thing, but it can get its grips into us so much